of the unqualified minister.
Order. That is not a genuine point of order. Question number 12, Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Justice. How many expressions of interest or nominations for the position of Equal Employment Opportunities Commissioner were received by the Ministry of Justice after the advertised deadline of 13 October 2012?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, the member is wrong. There is no deadline. This is a ministerial appointment. The Ministry of Justice was assisting me, not directing me.
That's right.
Because it's an administrative date for the Ministry of Justice only.
Very good.
Point of order. Order. A point of order has been raised, and I wish to hear it in silence.
Mr. Speaker, your office accepted a question with proper authentication showing there was an advertised deadline. It was tabled in the House yesterday. The Minister should be asked to answer that question. There was an advertised deadline, and for her to deny it is not appropriate.
Order. No, on this occasion, the member has addressed the question in a way that is not helpful to the House. I think it was pointless to ask the question to be repeated because I suspect we'll get the same answer. But on this occasion, I invite the member to have an additional 3 supplementaries if he so requires. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Question, Mr. Speaker. Did she receive the report from the Ministry of Justice, dated 1 November 2012, that summarised the expressions of interest in the EEO Commissioner position and sought her views on a shortlist, a paper that did not include Jackie Blue's name among the applicants?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, again, the member is not quite right in that question because, of course, I'd already received an expression of interest from Dr Jackie Blue and the Ministry hadn't at that stage because I had not passed it on to the Ministry.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
I don't think the Minister understood the question. I asked if she had, she had received a report from the Ministry.
I invite the member to ask the question again.
Did she receive the report from the Ministry of Justice dated 1 November 2012 that summarised the expressions of interest for the EEO Commissioner position and sought her views on a shortlist, a paper that did not include Jackie Blue among the applicants?
Well,
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, of course the member, I can try and answer it as best I can given that the question is clearly wrong. I got a... Excuse me. Do you want the answer?
Order.
So
I'm trying to also listen to the answer.
Well, Mr. Shearer might say that he's down there. Actually, what I would say to that member is that there was a report from the Ministry, but it didn't include the expression of interest that Dr. Blue had already received. I just said that there was a report. So, I mean, is that your answer? Okay.
Order. Supplementary question.
In light of that answer, Mr. Speaker, why did she answer to written parliamentary question 4721, which asked her when she received a list of those who had expressed interest? She answered that she received that on the 19th of December 2012 and didn't mention the report of 1 November 2012.
Explain.
Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I've just explained in my second answer, I think it was, to the question that he's asked today, that the expression of interest from Dr Jackie Blue was not included in the whatever early November report from the Ministry, and it was included in the one in December. I don't think it's that difficult, is it?
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Mr.
Grant
Speaker.
Robertson.
Why did the Minister not acknowledge the existence of the 1 November report in her answers to written questions?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Because, Mr. Speaker, the report didn't include all expressions of interest received. For goodness sake.
Supplementary question. Scott Simpson.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister, how is the appointment of the Equal Opportunity Commissioner made?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Finally, a good question.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, the role...
Order. Order. I'm very keen to hear the answer. It might help me in the future. Supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, the role of Equal Opportunities Commissioner is made under the Crown Entities Act 2004.
That's right.
All members of the Human Rights Commission are appointed by the Governor-General on the recommendation of the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice determines what process is followed in identifying suitable candidates, and it's the Minister of Justice who determines which candidates are to be shortlisted, and the Minister of Justice is free to take whatever advice she wishes to ensure the right recommendation is made to the Governor-General. However, this Minister of Justice didn't decide to put herself on any panel, unlike the other side.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Why did she withhold the name of the third person on the interview panel for the EEO Commissioner process?
Order. Order. There was so much noise, the Minister now can't hear the question. Would the member please repeat the question?
Very pleased to, Mr. Speaker. Why has she withheld the name of the third person on the interview panel for the EEO Commissioner position?
Well, Mr. Speaker,
Honourable Judith Collins.
Speaker, because to reveal that person's name would to breach the privacy of a natural person.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Why should members of the public have confidence in the process of the appointment of the EEO Commissioner if the Minister will not reveal to the public who was on the interview panel?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I'd expect that the members of the public would expect that we would comply with the Privacy Act. But the other thing too is actually, I can assure that member that it was no member of the public service, no member in the ministerial office, and no minister, unlike that party, which used to do it all the time.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
In light of that answer, Mr. Speaker, why does a note from Andrew Bridgman, the Secretary of Justice, say that the third person on the panel was the Chief Executive of an SOE, in contradiction to the answer the Minister's just given?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I think that member's mixed up as OIAs.
Point of order. Order. It is a point of order. We will hear it in silence.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I seek leave of the House to table an email from Andrew Bridgman, Secretary of Justice, dated Tuesday the 29th of January 2013, where he says, in particular, I would be interested in your view, he's writing to the SSC, as to whether the proposed interview panel, comprised as it is of chief executives of 2 government departments and an SOE, is appropriate.
Leave us sought to table that. Is there any objection? There is none. One final supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
In light of her earlier answer, how is it appropriate? In light of her earlier answer, how is it appropriate for her to answer in this House that the person who she will not identify on the panel was not a chair of an SOE, chief executive?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thought the answer was pretty jolly obvious, is that there was going to be that particular person and then it was changed. And I can tell the person is not a chair of an SOE, has nothing to do with the government, and is in fact actually a prominent QC.
Order. No, the member's now had his entire...
I thought I was getting 70, Mr. Speaker.
Conclude, according to my clerk. That concludes questions for oral answer. I call on Government Order of the Day, number 1.
Appropriation.